Hello, people of the world watching new vehicle reviews on the internet. Welcome to the all-new 2026 Nissan Leaf Platinum Plus. Today, we're gonna make like a tree and get this Leaf up in the air, nerd out the tech specs, see how it's constructed, and then go give it the e-beans. First things first, if you're well versed in the area of robots with wheels, you might notice that this is quite similar to the Nissan Ariya. And the biggest difference is this is only available in two-wheel drive. I know it's an EV, but the noise has to come from somewhere. I think I see a speaker up in there. Seam sealer application gets a solid B+. Thorough, little messy, but thorough. The entire underside of this thing is cladded in plastic paneling, no hairy cardboard, and it's got metal hardware. All these little plastic aero pieces contribute to a 0.26 drag coefficient. Up above all that plastic out back, you can see it's just kind of a massive cavity since this is only front-wheel drive. Out back, the Nissan Leaf utilizes a partially steel and aluminum multi-link rear suspension configuration. The rear knuckles are constructed out of aluminum. The spider webs are not included. The rear anti-sway bar, which is mounted on the bottom of the steel rear subframe, measures in at approximately 28 millimeter and change diameter. The rear dampers are manufactured by KYB in Japan. Moving onward, more plastic underbody cladding. That's very solid feeling. The 2026 Nissan Leaf chassis code ZE2 is now in its third generation and built on Nissan's AMP-R medium platform. The Platinum Plus trim, as you see above, weighs in at 4,369 pounds with a 56-44 front to rear weight distribution. So this right here is a removable plastic cover near the jack point. Oh, it's got little quick access rotator things. So every time you got to put this thing on a two-post lift, you have to rotate these little yellow doodads and then remove that. Bonus, however, you can see the structure around the battery, which is very thick aluminum. You can see up inside there how the battery is mounted to the bottom of the unibody. Flat rate technicians might not appreciate this, but it does keep the underside nice and clean if you live in a slushy, dirty environment. This is crazy. This thing would like be a sled in the wintertime on snow. It's just all slick, smooth plastic under the battery pack, which is a 75 kilowatt hour lithium ion unit. As far as the transmission is concerned, it is a direct drive integrated single speed reduction gear with a 9.33:1 final drive ratio. It also incorporates Nissan's intelligent trace control brake-based limited slip differential. Wait, what? I bet you that's center mass, the balancing point, because of the weight distribution. Not that you jack it up from that unless you're crazy. Another access point. Up front, you have an all aluminum in construction, independent strut suspension configuration. The front knuckles also aluminum in construction. Again, paired with a set of those KYB sourced coilover strut assembly front dampers. In the steering department above my head, you have an electric power assist, speed sensitive rack and pinion. The front anti-sway bar measures in at approximately smaller than the rear, 22 millimeter and change diameter. Well, that's kind of neat. There's a central jacking point in the middle of the front subframe area. I gotta say, I think this might be the easiest underside of a car to keep squeaky clean. Be quick to wash. It is now time for the braking test. Nothing behind me. Ready, set, stop. Wow. Oh, that was aggressive. That was very aggressive. I was not expecting that. There was quite a bit of drama in the pedal feedback, definite ABS vibrations. You could feel the tires kind of fighting to bring this thing down to a stop. It was average stopping distance for the weight of the vehicle. I would say maybe teetering towards a little bit better than I was expecting. That braking was just made possible thanks to a 2-piston front caliper with a 13.8-inch or 350.5 millimeter front rotor. The wheels on this Platinum Plus model are a 19 by 7.5 with a positive 50 millimeter offset, wrapped in a set of two 35, 45, 19-inch Bridgestone Alenza all-season tires. If you're a fan of 4 and 3 spoke wheel designs in the 80s and 90s, well, the Leaf's gonna be right up your alley. Also, that's a 5 on 114.3 PCD in case you're wondering. Ride height wise, the Leaf has grown. It's more than a foam finger's width of gap here. The inner fender liners are plastic, easy to clean. LED DRLs and headlights, as well as the hamburger bun glows and has a camera built into it. You also have some active grille shutters that open and close in front of the heat exchangers and AC condenser. You have both right and left side charging points. Why didn't they do that with internal combustion engines and gas tanks? Only the front handles are robotic. Inner fender liners are actually carpeted. Out back, you go down to a single piston caliper and an 11.5 inch or 292 millimeter rotor. The wheel and tire, same size as you have upright. In the name of science, it is now time to give this thing the beans. But first, I must conduct assessment of bolstering. It's got a little bit of bolstering to the seat. They're slippy though. This one's equipped with the optional white and metallic purple interior. You see it's got Bose speakers in the headrest like an MX-5. The butt cushion is incredibly soft. The dark purplish blue is actually metallic, the fabric. Kind of wild. They are heated. You can tap on this little bar, or you can touch the screen where it brings up a temp menu. As is the steering wheel is heated. They're also dual memory. That steering wheel is also flat bottom. There's just 2 pedestals that attach it to the rim. As far as drive modes go, next to the little square buttons for your drive selector, I have a flipper that says D-Mode. I can flip and go from eco to standard, sport, or personal. I can go through acceleration, regeneration, and steering. The Eco mode itself also has settings built into the gauge cluster. I can also select VDC settings in that menu and turn off the vehicle dynamic control. I also have a square button on the dash for the one pedal drive. Let's see what this thing can do. Ready, set, go. Got some torques. Little torque shove. Feels like there was definite traction management not allowing me to launch this thing. It's brisk. It's like a leaf blowing in a fall breeze. Hood pop. It's pretty light actually. No struts. Underneath the hood of the 2026 Nissan Leaf for the US market is the standard 160 kilowatt AC synchronous electric motor that produces 214 horsepower at 4,400 to 11,700 RPM and 261 pound-feet of torque from 0 to 4,300 RPM. Whew, that's an interesting mount bolted directly to the firewall. And speaking of mounts, that is one thing that's changed significantly since the second generation is the motor mount design. See how the bolt goes in this way versus up and down on the previous generation? The driver's side mount, well, you also have to take my word for it, it's underneath that vicinity. Digging in a little bit deeper on this 3-in-1 electric propulsion assembly, it has the motor, inverter, and the reduction gear all included in one assembly. The motor itself features hairpin windings as well as a 6-stage skew rotor, which helps suppress vibrations, as well as the inverter is double-sided for its cooling. So you can see the inverter, which is located up on top of the motor, there is coolant hoses going to it right here, as well as back here on the rear side. Expansion chamber is off to the side, and as you'll notice, the coolant is blue. However, so is washer fluid. You know someone out there is gonna pour washer fluid in that by mistake. Tucked up under the wiper cowl, it does have an electronic brake booster. The right side of the bay is pretty much all traditional 12-volt battery and fuse boxes. In case firefighters need to do some spicy work under here, that's where you cut the cable. What the hell? That almost looks like a throttle cable. Oh, what does that do when I pull it? Ejecto seat cuz. Now other markets do offer a lower horsepower version of this. Why you would want less horsepower is beyond me. However, there's also an all-tech version of this available in Japan we don't get here in the States, which would be sweet if we did. This thing's spicy. It's weird because from a dead stop straight line, if you punch it, it's kind of meh. But if you're going from a roll, or if you turn the wheel just a slight bit, it starts becoming a 2-tire fire. Pretty flat handling wise, not bad. It's got a little shimmy to it. You can feel the weight, low center of gravity. The size of it, though, driving it on the road, it does feel like a larger vehicle. I mean, especially just from the driver's seat, there's quite a bit of distance from myself to the door right here. The windshield I can't even touch. It feels like a larger vehicle, and is what it is, but I'll dip into another corner, really see. Yeah, flat. Feel like it kind of feels like you're taking a rock and skipping across a pond to going into a corner. I wouldn't want to push it too hard. It doesn't really have a very sticky meat on here. I think with some sticky, aggressive tires, though, no one that buys one of these is going to do that. But still, suspension's soft. It's just comfy. It's a little floaty boaty when you hit bumps. Just kind of bumbles along. It's a comfy car, though. It is a very comfy car. I wouldn't plan on carving any canyons up in it. I'm gonna use my drive mode. I'm gonna swap it down to eco and see how much that neuters the performance. Throttle response, instantaneously notice a difference right there. It is, I want to see the steering feel going into a corner. I don't really honestly notice much of a difference other than that. Other than the throttle response, it's not a tremendous difference between that and sport. Go back into sport mode, and then E pedal recuperation on max. I wouldn't really say it's a one pedal driving experience. It does give some strong regeneration there. Other than that, it's just kind of it's an RC car. It's a giant golf cart. It's an electric mobility plant. You can definitely tell that comfort was the main objective with this design. Although, I mean, it's got a little bit of shove when you just roll into the bean. It's neat. My peripheral vision, I can see the power factor gauge maxing out when I floor it. Also, something that is noticeable is the brake-based limited slip differential. When you're flooring it on throttle around a corner, you can feel applying the power to both front wheels. I mean, this is definitely a vehicle that I knew from the get-go I was not going to be super impressed by, just because it's not a performance vehicle, it's just an Econo EV, and it's got some character to it. It's got a little bit of zip. Taillights kind of look like a 300ZX a bit. Opens the hatch. This is a very high-end looking ensemble back here. The materials, like this little cubby, that's neat. Oh, it comes, oh, it's on a little strap. This is neat. What is the point of these? It's like you could build something with these. No? These are neat. A little plastic storage pocket where you could collect some grapes. Got a 1500 watt power inverter. Another storage cup. I think, oh, these are removable. They Velcro. So you could take this pail out and go pick berries or put cat litter in it in case your animal has to poop on the side of the road. And then it just Velcros back in place. There's a giant LED light right here on the side that you can actually remove. The charger stays behind. And then you have a little portable battery bank that you can charge up and charge things with or use as an LED light. You got a little Velcro first aid kit so you can play games. Stick the tail on the leaf. There's no lever back there to do this. You have to come around. I mean, yeah, you could use this thing as a pickup truck if you really had to. Button looks like a van, an NV. Well, it kind of looks like a Dodge Caravan, actually. As far as the back seat of the Leaf goes, I have this seat almost all the way back, and my knees almost touch, like just barely. The rear seats are heated. There's USB-Cs, AC power inverter, some vents. Oh, it's like a denim. It's like a black denim. That's interesting. It's really hard to see the metallic in it, but it is metallic. It's an interesting texture. It's not like synthasuede and it's not quite like leather. It's something in between. Now this one is super loaded with options and it has this white interior package, which looks really pretty, but you know, you can't be a slob. Well, it's got great squish to it, super comfy cup holders. They put black cloth right here and then white cloth right here, so it obviously matches, but ooh, that would get dirty. The tops of the door cards have this grayish wool-like material. It's more of that metallic purple leatherette. The massive roof above my head does one of the coolest things I have ever seen in a car yet. It has that electronic tint feature. However, it mimics a shade opening and closing, and you can stop it partially. As you can see right now, it's kind of opaque, but if I were to push the button, the little thing transitions. You can see it moving, and then it says leaf. You can press it again. You can open it the rest of the way, and now you can see through it, and it's still fairly tinted. Like, you're not gonna cook your scalp. As far as the interior goes on this new generation of Leaf, that is the biggest standout about this thing. It feels kind of like a luxury vehicle, almost Infinity-like in here. It's very nice. They put a lot of effort in wrapping stuff in different materials. That way journalists wouldn't complain that it feels like cheap plastic. The dash has more of that metallic purple finish on it, as well as that gray wool-like substance. Look, carpeted floor mats feel very thick and durable like the last, and they have a square pattern. I mean, there is definitely stuff in here that is not expensive to produce, like these little square buttons, but it works. If you're the type of person that hates piano black on vehicle interiors, well, guess what? It's everywhere that you have to touch. So there'll definitely be some fingerprints in here you'll have to keep wiping off. Sunglass holder cheapness test. Oh yeah, well, it's just thin plastic, but it's got soft padding. Got a little wireless phone charge cubby, and inside the center console is, what is this? Oh, neat. It actually comes with charge cables. That's awesome. It's in a Nissan bag. Got more USB-Cs down by the cup holders. There's a large storage bin down there on the floor and possibly a speaker. Oh, it's a charge outlet. As far as the infotainment screen goes, it is integrated into the gauge cluster like a lot of new vehicles, which is customizable. There's a bunch of different ways you can set this view up. Also has a heads-up display. If I go into electric vehicle, I can actually select the battery heater if I want to heat the battery manually, as well as battery cooling. The menu system itself is fairly easy to navigate in here. Ooh, can I change the color of my Leaf? Vehicle color, good. Oh, I don't know if that's actually accurate. Doesn't have the name of the color. Camera graphics are a little potato quality, but okay, so the Bose sound system that's in here is excellent. Super crisp highs, great bass. This is I did not expect that. Surprisingly good. If you watch my past reviews, you'll know that I am a big fan of the current generation Frontier, and I do like the new current generation Z as well. But this is the first new product from Nissan where you can tell they're obviously making changes to turn over a new Leaf. Anyway, and there's a but here, I think that this new Leaf is a bit too large. The Leaf was based on the Versa Note. It was a small, compact little hatchback, and in pictures this thing looks small, but in person, I mean, it's over 4,000 pounds. And that was the one thing I liked about the Leaf, is it was tiny. This is one of those giant banana ones that you can drink water out of in the jungle. I'll stop with the Leaf jokes, I promise. It's essentially an Aria, which I haven't reviewed one of those. And aside from the size complaint, there's a lot to like about it, and I don't really care for EVs. Now, I will say, as someone that is typically not drawn to vehicles like this is a likable car, and I think this is a great car for a lot of people because it starts under $30,000. And even though this one is fully loaded out and about 10 grand more than that, it's still a lot of car for the money. The range on this new Leaf is excellent. Now, this one is supposedly supposed to be just over 250 miles since it is the Platinum Plus, but when I had it fully charged, it said 300 on the clock, and I still have over 200 miles range at 72% now, so pretty good. One thing I would like to see them offer with this is the Autech version in the States, as well as a Nismo Raise Engineering parts catalog forged monoblock wheel, because with EVs, you'll notice the higher trim spec with the 19-inch wheels has less range than the base model. The base model has the longest range for their battery pack, and that's because it is the lightest of the models. So unsprung mass, forged monoblock wheels, and that's how you can really eke out extra mileage. Also, after having it up on the lift and spending some time with it, I do say that the build quality seems higher than the past generation Leaf that I reviewed. It is now time to give this piece of vegetation some scores. Starting with the bean score, the assessment of the feeling you get in your gut when you give the beans. And it earns a rating of Next is the cookie score, the assessment of value, and where the Leaf starts out under $30,000 with over 300 miles of range, that's excellent value. However, this is as loaded as it gets in the Platinum Plus with some options at just a little over $40,000. So it gets a rating of a tough one to rate because EVs typically don't hold their value very well. However, at 40 grand, this is still a really nice car on the inside, but where it's most appealing is under 30,000. Next is the toaster score, the negative assessment on how much of a disposable appliance a new vehicle is. And the Leaf earns a rating of, unfortunately, that's just the nature of electronics. How many of you have a 15-year-old cell phone in your pocket and still use a 20-year-old laptop? Followed by the wrench score, assessment of ease of maintenance, and earns a rating of, followed by the squid score, assessment of handling, and it gets a rating of. Lastly is the penguin score, the assessment on how much I personally like a vehicle, and the new Leaf gets a rating of. I do feel that Nissan did a great job making this EV, and in terms of Japanese electric vehicles, this is one of the better Japanese-made EVs I've reviewed thus far. So good on Nissan in that avenue. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this review. I'll see you soon with another. Bye! This video is sponsored by me and my very own detailing product line, RoboBubble, made in the USA. This car got some sap on it from being parked under a tree. We're getting into sap season, and as you can see, got some mesquite sap on the back glass of this BRZ. So I'm gonna use some of my bug and tar remover. Let that sit for a sec. Kind of, man, that tree really just puked all over the glass. Use generous amounts of the product. Just kind of blot it. You don't want to rub hard. It's not that type of a situation. Just the objective is to dissolve the sap, not try to rub it off. Pretty much destroyed this microfiber, but rather that than be on the car. Use some of my glass cleaner, which I'm almost out of because I actually use my own stuff. And go over that area, remove the residue from the and the sap. Saturate, let it kind of soak for a sec, then blot it. And the sap is gone. Now I'm going to follow up with my quickie. This will actually protect the paint because it is a quick wax. Go over the areas, remove the residue from the There, just like that. Nice and clean. Subaru, I'll send you my invoice. Shit works good, right?
Shit works good.